Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a junior at Pomona College. I'm a chemistry major, and today I'm going to be showing you a simple way to make solar cells that convert light energy into electrical current using very simple components such as blackberry juice.
Hi, I'm Connor Cummerlow. I'm also a chemistry major at Pomona College. I'm here to work with Hannah on the solar cells because solar cells are awesome. To make them, we're going to need to use blackberry juice, a microscope slide, titanium dioxide, and an iodine solution.
The type of microscope slide that we'll be using is coated on one side with a special conductive oxide. This will form one side of the solar cell. So the first thing we have to do is determine which side has the conductive oxide. To do this, one thing we can do is use a UV lamp. One side will fluoresce and one side will not. So we see that this side is fluorescing. That means it's the glass side, so we don't want to use that side. But see, this side doesn't fluoresce, so that's the conductive side, so we want to use the side that doesn't fluoresce. We can also use a multimeter to see which of the sides has a voltage across it. Your instructor can help you out with that version.
Our next stage is to tape the slide down to the table. When you tape your slide down, make sure that 3 of the sides are taped to about 1 millimeter on the edge, and that one of the sides is taped with about 3 millimeters of tape covering the edge. Also, make sure that all of the sides of tape are sealed onto the paper, sealed onto the slide.
Our next step is to make the titanium dioxide paste that will form the semiconductor for our solar cell. So here I've weighed out 1 gram of TiO2 powder. So now I'm going to take this and put it in a mortar and pestle. Now I'm going to add approximately 2 milliliters of ethanol. In this step, you can use ethanol, you can use propanol, you can use dilute nitric acid, but for this solar cell, we're going to use ethanol. Now I'm using a pipette to add it, but all you really need is just some way of adding it slowly, so you can also use a graduated cylinder. So here I'm adding 2 mils. And now I'm going to stir it with the mortar and pestle. You can add more solvent if you need it to get it into it should look like white paint or sunscreen at the end.
Now that we have our paste, it's time to add our paste to the solar cell. Your paste should have the consistency of watery shampoo. You can take a spatula and add 3 drops to the solar cell. Now you want to smooth out these drops across the solar cell with a glass rod. Back to you, Hannah.
Our next step will be to heat the TiO2 paste over an open flame. This will remove the solvent and allow the TiO2 to bind more strongly to the glass slide. So in our setup, we have a Bunsen burner underneath a ring stand with a wire mesh gauze on top. And be very careful when using an open flame, and always have a lab coat and safety goggles on. So now we'll remove the tape from the glass slide so that we can put it over the Bunsen burner. Note that because we had the slide taped down, our TiO2 now makes a nice neat square on top of the glass slide. Be sure to remove all the tape. Now we're going to put this on top of the mesh and light the Bunsen burner.
Heating the slide drives off the solvent that we added to the TiO2. Remember that this is a really hot system, and that cold glass looks exactly like hot glass, so do not touch it, you will get hurt. Also, with your flame, you want to have the inner tip of the flame just about touching the microscope slide so that you have the hottest part of the flame touching it. A key component of a solar cell is a dye that can absorb light and turn it into energy. For our dye, we're going to use a dye in blackberries that we can crush up and put onto our solar cell. First, you crush up the blackberries. Once we've mixed the blackberries thoroughly, we want to add 95% ethanol right here. We want to add 12 mils of the 95% ethanol. We also want to add 12 mils of 15% acetic acid. Now you want to stir this up thoroughly too. Once you've stirred it up, you take a coffee filter, place the coffee filter over a beaker, and filter the dye.
So now we have our final filtered blackberry dye. We're aiming to get about 10 mils. That's plenty for what we are going to do. Now I'm going to pick up the TiO2 slide and simply submerge it in the blackberry juice. And it's going to sit there for 10 minutes. So while our semiconductor slide is soaking in blackberry juice, we're going to prepare the second slide that makes up our solar cell. So again, I've determined that the top side of the slide is the conductive side, and now we're going to coat a layer of graphite on top of it to help the electron flow. Our source of graphite is going to be a pencil lead. So I'm just going to put this down, and now I'm just going to color, basically, a layer of graphite on top of the slide. Don't be afraid to scrub hard on it. I'll draw on it again from another angle to make sure it's totally covered. And there's our second slide. Make sure that the entire square is coated thoroughly. So here you can see our graphite slide. So now we've got our two final microscope slides. Now we're going to assemble our solar cell. So here we have our slide that was removed from the blackberry juice it was in. And here we have our graphite slide. Now what we're going to do is put a couple drops of this iodine redox couple, which is going to serve as the filler for the dye. Once the dye molecule has lost an excited electron, the redox couple replenishes it so that the circuit is completed. Now I'm just going to take 2 drops of this and put them on the graphite slide. And now I'm going to lay one on top of the other, making sure that on each side a little bit of the glass is hanging off. This will allow us later to help test the slide. The final step is to seal the solar cell. To do that, we're going to use 2 binder clips. Now, I'm going to clip the clips on the 2 sides that aren't overhanging. So there's one clip, and here's the other one. And there's our solar cell.
So this is our final and complete solar cell. So now the only thing left to do is to go outside and measure the voltage it produces.
So now we're going to take our solar cell outside to test it. Here in sunny Southern California, we have plenty of sunshine. So what we're going to do is we have a voltmeter, and we're going to connect the 2 electrodes across the solar cell.
And it looks like we're getting about half of a millivolt of electricity, so that's good.
Great, so this concludes our demonstration of making a dye-sensitized solar cell, and good luck in building your own.
Thank you.